It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and it's time to show you a brand new brewery on the channel. A new brewery showcase. This brewery, Unbound Brewing Company, are based in Colne in the UK, which is north of Burnley and between Leeds and Manchester. So they're kind of like, there's Leeds, there's Manchester, Colne's by there. I only know because I've just looked at Google Maps. So this is going to be a rather long video. I'm going to show you 4 beers from this brewery. Go and get your popcorn, or better still, go and get your beer and settle in. So we're going to start off by showing you the cans we have here. We got Unbound Infusion Infused Session Pale Ale. We have a Trinity Double Dry Hopped IPA. We have a Lapacho Rhubarb Extra Pale Ale. And finally an Eclipse Dark Chocolate Porter. That's right up my street. Dark Chocolate Porter. So where are we going first? 4.85%. Session Pale Ale. I think we're going to go Session Pale Ale at 4% ABV, the Infusion. So without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass, see what we get. Always love a new brewery on the channel, and I want to give them a big shout out. Unbound Brewing Company. They sent me a message. I think it was either Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or somewhere. Somewhere they sent me a message saying, do you want to try our beers? And I was like, yeah, cool. It might have even been Gmail. It might have even been my email account. It was somewhere along the line that they sent me a message. And I was like, yeah, send the beers down, send the beers down. So this is, normally I do my beers individually. I normally individually review the beers. Now I was thinking to myself recently, just to change things up on the platform, because I got so much beer. If I was to individually review these 4 beers, it would take me such a long time to get round to them that it wouldn't be fair on the brewery, because I wouldn't be getting round to them fresh. So I thought to myself, what about like calling it a brewery showcase, where I show the beers off, have a little taste one by one, tell you guys what I think of the beer, whether you want to go and try it or not. And of course, by me showing you the beer in 4K 60 frames a second Ultra HD video, you can probably make your mind up yourselves as well, just by looking at the beer. Hazy amber coloured beer, 1 finger white head. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, nice and hoppy. Nice malt build. Slightly worty, biscuity, worty aroma. It smells interesting enough. Let's dive into this. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, yeah. Clean, crisp, refreshing, malty, very malty. And then after being very malty, it goes over very quickly to being quite bitter. They've had a lot of the hops here have gone into the boil. It's like it's 4% ABV, but it's packing flavour. Packing flavour. I just reviewed a 6% Polish lager, and this 4% ABV session IPA has got like far more body, far more malt character, far more hop character. It's just got so much more flavour. Taking nothing away from the 6% Polish lager, but this has got a lot of depth to it. Of course, it's an ale, it's not a lager. It's nicely carbonated. I like that wordiness that I was talking about in the aroma. Thankfully that's coming across more of a biscuit cereal malt in the flavour. And then you've got some kind of lemon and lime and bitterness to polish it all off. Pretty good. So there's the session Infusion Session IPA. First beer in. Now where are we going next? We're going to leave the chocolate porter till last. Double dry hopped IPA or rhubarb extra pale ale. Oof, man, now this is really testing my beer knowledge. I'm going to go with I'm quite stuck here. Double dry hopped IPA or rhubarb extra pale ale. I'm going to go rhubarb. Rhubarb as an adjunct into the beer. I'm just going to wing it here a little bit because it's 4.8% ABV, and hopefully the double dry hopped hoppiness in that beer there will kind of cut over the rhubarb. That's my level of thinking anyway. Let's get it out. Nobody's right. Nobody's right. We all make our own decisions in life. Okay, 3-finger white head. Good levels of carbonation. A light amber coloured beer that's slightly hazy. Let's get the aroma. Rhubarb. Rhubarb. This takes me back to my grandfather's garden. He's still alive. He's 89. He's still going. He's not much of a gardener these days though. But he still has his kind of rhubarb patch, and he would cook everything. He would make rhubarb crumbles and he'd make rhubarb everything, my granddad, because he had a massive rhubarb patch growing in his garden. And this, yeah, it's tart, it's jammy, it's slightly plum-like in the aroma. It's nicely kind of crispy and malty. And then it's stinking of rhubarb, which is exactly what you want. If you're going to write rhubarb on the side of your can, you want it to be stinking of rhubarb. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, oh yeah. That's really rhubarby. But it's got a real kind of, like a samurai sword kind of, it's like really clean. It's a clean, what I mean is if you were to slice a piece of cloth with a samurai sword, it would be such a clean cut. But it's such a clean cut in the beer where you get lots of rhubarb and then all of a sudden the rhubarb stops and then it goes over to being like wafer, crispy, malty, biscuity flavours coming through with a nice level of bitterness on the back end. Yeah, this is good beer. I like this. It's good British ale. Good British ale. Really tart. Really, really tart. Really jammy. I'm going to say, if I'm going to be slightly critical about this beer, it could do with a little bit more carbonation. If the brewers, if you're watching at Unbound Brewing Company, if you could just slightly raise the carbonation levels a little bit, it's looking slightly. I mean, you rock it back and forth, and it's looking the part. It really is. I just feel it needs a touch more carbonation, just to lift it a little bit. And I think if you were to do that, you would also be lifting that rhubarb just a little bit more. But it's still a very, very good beer. On with the next one. I like that. Lapacho. Lapacho Rhubarb Extra Pale Ale. Wow, okay, now it's time for the double dry hopped IPA, and now it's time to see if I made the right decision. Trinity. We have a Trinity Street in Barry. It's quite a famous street in Barry because it's actually the street where they filmed Gavin and Stacey. That rather steep hill with a terraced house on the right hand side overlooking the dock is actually called Trinity Street in Barry. So, Unbound Brewing Company, there's your little tie to Barry, your little Trinity double dry hopped IPA. We got a 2-finger whitehead. It's looking good. Hazy, hazy, hazy double dry hopped IPA. Good head retention. Looks like it has nice levels of carbonation. Let's get the aroma. Ooh. Mmm. Again, I'm getting that kind of slight wörtiness in the aroma. Only slight. Only slight. But I'm also getting lots of kind of passion fruit, mango, grapefruit, watermelon. Am I exaggerating slightly? But a little bit of watermelon. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Ooh. Mmm. Oh, that's nice. Mmm. Oh. Orange peel, fleshy blood orange, grapefruit, but watermelon. That watermelon flavour is just kind of just sticking with me here. And that's nice. And it's got a nice, all of those lovely hoppy flavours that I've just mentioned. It's got a nice kind of bitterness. It's just building and building on the back of the palate. And it's just, yeah, it's a nicely balanced beer between that. It is malty. I'm not going to kind of like hold anything back here. It is a malty beer, but it's got a nice kind of hoppy finish to it. Grapefruit, passion fruit, mango. So what I'm trying to say here is a nicely balanced beer. A nicely balanced beer. watermelon. I just can't get away from it being like a watermelon flavour going on in that beer. So Trinity, that's a look at it unbound. Unbound Brewing Company's Trinity Double Dry Hopped IPA. Blimey. 3 beers in, you can tell, yeah? I like it. I do. It's a nice IPA. I'm liking the fact that it's kind of like 5% ABV. This is proper sling 8 cans in your bag, take it to your barbecue job. Which I'm going to this afternoon. Well, where are we now? It's 10:22 AM. I got a barbecue to go to at 4 PM this afternoon. It's going to be a really interesting experience. Right, Unbound Brewing Company Eclipse. This is their dark chocolate porter at 5% ABV. I gotta be honest, this is the one that really kind of grabbed me. This is the one that went, ooh, I like the sound of that one. Here we go. Oh, look at that. No real spillage, but plenty of beer in that can. What I suggest you do when you have a kind of situation like this where you got a lot of carbonation in the top of the can is to get your glass on a 45, kind of touch it about halfway and then just tip it quickly. You can then try and slow it down to, so you're trying to get a full glass of beer. There you go. So you're not tipping any beer all over your nice cream sofa or carpet or... I must be a beer drinker because I've just tiled my floor and I've got a leather sofa. Must be a beer drinker. No carpets or no cream cloth sofas in sight in my house. No way. They would be covered. 2-finger tan coloured head. Jet black beer in the glass. There's a little bit of light. You might be able to see the smallest amount of light bleeding through. Let's get the aroma. Minty menthol. Like a minty kind of mentholy aroma. Loads of cacao. Loads of cacao in the beer. Loads of roasted malt. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. For a porter, it's got the right mouthfeel. It's not as thick and gloopy as a stout. It's got a little bit more drinkability to it. You can feel the carbonation pushing the beer around the inside of the mouth, releasing more of that flavour. For me, it's in between mild, a really good dark mild, and porter. You really get the sense of the roasted malt and the biscuit malt in the beer. As you can hear, it's nicely carbonated. That carbonation is pushing the beer around the inside of the mouth. It's giving it a little bit more of a kind of a zinginess, a springiness in the beer. You can see as I'm rocking it back and forth. It does have a slight mentholy aroma, a slight mentholy taste to it. Maybe brew 2 or brew 3, different batch. They can kind of iron out I think that slight kind of what shouldn't be there in the beer. But let's not forget, this is a brand new brewery. I mean, I remember drinking early Beavertown beers before they were great and then they sold to Heineken. I remember drinking early Beavertown beers going, why are everybody raving about this beer? Why is everybody like going nuts for this beer? I mean, it's all about timing. If Unbound Brewing Company launched all of these beers 8 years ago in 330 cans, they would be the talk of the world. I mean, first craft brewer to start putting beer in cans, that sort of thing. It's all about timing. I think some of these breweries that have opened and have now become very successful businesses have done so because they've been early adopters into the craft beer industry. I think going forward, it's going to be a lot more difficult for breweries to be able to kind of get that early advantage, that early adopter kind of. It's like the craft beer world is now maturing. It's now maturing into a more kind of a rhythm, a business rhythm, like every other business out there. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. But I think they have a place. They definitely have a place in the market. Unbound Brewing Company, North Leeds. Well, no, it was across from Leeds. One in North Manchester, kind of Oldham area, Burnley area. I've not heard of a brewery in the Burnley area, so it's sounding like that they got their own little market up there. But yeah, I reckon fine tuning, a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit of carbonation, maybe in a couple of those pale ales and IPAs over there. Try and maybe iron out this slightly mentholy flavour in the beer. But you're onto a winner. You are onto a winner, promise you. I'm going to rate their beers, all of them, in one go. Now, naturally, as somebody who's been in the industry for 11 years, I get sent a lot of beer. And I get sent a lot of beer from new breweries. So I can kind of reflect on how these guys have launched into the market. And you know, fair play. I think they've got a lot of potential. They've got a lot of potential. It's early doors. They've just launched. They're going to be ironing out all sorts of teething problems at their brewery. Like any other new business. Like any other new business. But I like their beers. They're good. And they're all worth a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.